Hello, my name is Shah. I'm part of the team here at the Greenery Garden Home in Heidelberg. Today I'm going to be showing you how to put together your own terrarium. We'll go over what you need and how to bring it all together to create something really beautiful inside a glass jar. So let's get started. So here's what you're going to need to put your terrarium together. I have some fine crushed rock. I'm using a dark stone called quarter minus, some horticultural charcoal, some sphagnum moss, some indoor potting mix. I have my selection of plants and my moss for the top. I'm using a living bush moss, but you can use any moss, and some rocks to decorate the terrarium at the end. And don't forget some small scissors in case you need to cut anything back. The first part of putting together your terrarium is to create your false bottom. Now we're going to add our coarse rock. You only want to have a thin layer at the bottom. It's just to stop the water from collecting and mixing with the soil. Next up, we're going to add our horticulturalist charcoal. This is a filtration layer, so it's going to purify the water as it cycles through the terrarium. So just going to gently throw that around in there. The layer of charcoal can be quite fine as long as you cover all of the rock underneath. Next, we're going to seal off our false bottom that we've created. I'm using some sphagnum moss. It's just a thin layer. I'm going to drop it in there and spread it out evenly over the charcoal. Next up, we're going to add our substrate layer. For this, I'm using a high quality potting mix. Now I'm going to create a bit of a mound in the middle just so I have more space to put my plants in next. Okay, I might be here a while with this scoop action. I'm going to just press down the soil lightly, not too firmly, and I've created a bit of a mound in the middle. Just gives it a bit more of a natural aesthetic. I'm going to be planting my plants more so in the middle, and we'll be clumping them together as you'll see in our next step. So next up, we can add in our plants. Now I'm using a little variety of plants here. You can use any plant that can handle a high humidity environment. In this case, this will be a sealed terrarium, so I've gone with plants that can handle that high humidity. I'm just going to take them out of their pots. Going to break off some of that excess soil. Now, once you've taken off some of that excess soil, we're just going to create a little burrow within our terrarium. And we're going to push our plant into that burrow we've created. And plant that into place. So I've created a new little burrow next to the other plant, and I'm going to add the next one in. So that one. And we'll just create the next burrow. It's easier to do it while your hand is already inside. Just that's all of the plants in. Now I'm just going to neaten up the soil a little bit in there before we add our moss. Now on top of that soil, we're going to add our living moss. I have my little scissors here to just cut a few curved angles into that, just so it fits a bit nicer inside the terrarium. So I'm just going to place that in. And finally, we're going to add in some rocks for a bit more of a natural look. So when adding the rocks in, try and press one side of them into the moss a little bit. Just makes it look a little bit more like they are popping out of the ground. Now, another thing you can do with the rocks is to stack them on top of each other just slightly. I'll show you here. I'm going to place another rock on this side, a bit closer to the plants. Oh, nearly smashed the glass. Going to place another rock on this side here, a little bit closer to the plants. And the last one on the back here. And that's it. We're ready to give it a good spray and seal it up. So once you have all of your plants, moss and rocks in place, we're going to give it a light spray all over and seal it up. Now, depending on how well sealed your terrarium is, you may not need to reapply any spray of moisture for up to a few months. In my case, I'll be adding a little bit every month or so, as I do get a little bit of moisture escaping through this top here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this helps you in your terrarium creating adventures. Now, if you have any questions, just pop them down in the comments and we'll be sure to reply as soon as we can. And remember, you can find us at the Greenery in Heidelberg. Thanks.